What's going on, people? Welcome along to the Football Syndicate. My name's James Cook, and in this video I'm going to be giving you my take on Arsenal's 2-1 defeat at the Emirates to Manchester United. Now, as an Arsenal fan, this result is bitterly disappointing, incredibly hard to take, and the fact that this just builds on our worst start to a season for 30 odd years, it's just horrific, and it's got to be said, it's just not good enough. Going into this game, you could have, as an Arsenal fan, I could have taken confidence from the fact that we had a lot of players who'd had individual good stand-out performances in the international break, the likes of Danny Welbeck being on target for England. The same goes for Oxlade-Chamberlain. Jack Wilshere was proving himself to be pivotal in that England role. All these players having really good breaks over the weekend, as well as that you had Alexis Sanchez who'd scored for Chile. So went into this game with a little bit of confidence, as well as the fact that we had to respond following that defeat against Swansea, as well as the horrific draw against Anderlecht in the Champions League, as well as that the fact that United had so many injuries in this game, and the fact that we couldn't score against a black three of Blackett, McNair and Smalling until the introduction of Olivier Giroud is extremely worrying. And it has to be said, as well as those players played, McNair and Blackett most notably, no one had heard of these players a year ago. Not even 6 months ago. And we can't score past that with the likes of Alexis Sanchez, Danny Welbeck, Oxlade-Chamberlain, Aaron Ramsey, Jack Wilshere in the team. Real cause of concern on that behalf. But going into this game, I mean, Wenger, well, actually, should I say, coming out of this game, Wenger has to be questioned. Tactically, I mean, I love the guy. I love everything he's done for Arsenal in the past years. I mean, you can always look at his history, but in this current moment, it's not like we're going forward. I mean, how do we push forward from this result if things can't get much worse than this? It's our worst start to the season under Arsene Wenger, so that speaks volumes. I didn't think we could have a worse start to the season than that one we had in 2011-12, which was just a horrific start. But this result, it captivates everything that's gone wrong for us really this season. I'm still in disbelief the day after that we've actually lost this game. But I mean, like I said, Wenger has to come under scrutiny. This club deserves a lot of criticism as it stands, which is incredibly mediocre, the kind of football we're playing. We're very menial at the moment, very menial. I think that would really be the word to sum the situation up at the moment. I'd like to think that we'd be able to push on from this moment in time, but I can't really see us doing that. I mean, we've got Dortmund next. Great, and then we got West Brom away, which is going to be a really difficult game. And can I realistically see us getting anything out of those games? I mean, I'd like to say I could, but I can't. I don't. You can't trust this club to go out there and get wins against those sides. It's going to be very difficult for us to do that. And the only thing that you can really predict of Arsenal is more of exactly what's happened. I mean, the style of football, the fact that we don't have a plan B, is incredibly frustrating to see, and the tactics have to be questioned. The first big one that everyone knows, every Arsenal fan knows, is wrong. Monreal at centre-back. And, okay, if you don't play Monreal at centre-back, you're going to be left with two 19-year-olds in Callum Chambers and Hector Bellerin. But I would much prefer us to take that risk than play Monreal out of position, where he's clearly not up to it. Fair play to him. He had a decent game against Manchester United, but that was mainly due to the fact that he wasn't tested throughout the whole course of the game. So I can't really comment on that too much, but we all know it doesn't work, and I would have thought Bellerin would have been much more suited to marking someone with the capabilities of Angel Di Maria, considering Bellerin has more pace than Chambers, and he just strikes me more as a fullback than Chambers does. I certainly think Chambers is more suited to the centre-back role than Bellerin is, but that's just my opinion. As well as that, it all comes down to Summer. We can all look back at Summer and we can all say, why didn't we strengthen? He's taken a risk on Laurent Koscielny. He knew he had an Achilles problem going into the season. He's taken a gamble on him, which quite evidently hasn't paid off. As well as that, the Matthew Debussy one is very unfortunate. No one expected him to be getting injured. But it all comes down to allowing Jenkinson and Vermaelen to leave and not adequately replacing those, and having to put faith in your younger players, and having to put faith in players that are going to be played out of position, like Bellerin and Monreal, etc. And I think this is where Van Gaal upped for Wenger in this game. By putting faith in his youth players, he put faith in the likes of Blackett and McNair. Arguably, he did have to play those players, but it's not like he's playing the likes of Darren Fletcher out of position or whatever. That's the kind of thing you could foresee Wenger doing if he was in charge of Man United at this moment in time. And yeah, okay, it all comes down to experience at a point, but Monreal is no more experienced in that centre-back role than someone like Callum Chambers is. It's ludicrous why we persist to do with that. But Focusing on the display, moreover, the first half, Arsenal absolutely blitzed Manchester United. That opening 20 minutes, that opening half, really, Arsenal were totally in control of the game, and I couldn't quite believe that we hadn't actually scored. We were playing some very good passing football. Arteta was proven to be a very pivotal figure in our midfield, and it was good to see him actually having a rather good game. As well as that, the likes of Jack Wilshere, everything was going through Jack Wilshere. All our attacking moves were going through him. He was threading some lovely balls through to the likes of Aaron Ramsey. There's some great link-up play between Ramsey and Wilshere. Ramsey had an okay game, but he really slackened off in that second half. Alexis Sanchez didn't have one of his better games. As well as that, though, his work rate is unquestionable. The same goes for the likes of Oxlade-Chamberlain and Danny Welbeck, who never stopped trying in this game. Actually, focusing on Danny Welbeck, I thought he looked very tame in this game. I think maybe he was trying too hard to prove a point in this one, but then again, that's just down to my opinion. The best chance of the first half we had was Jack Wilshere after some lovely play with Danny Welbeck, and he really should have scored. He had the whole goal to aim at, or he could have squared it to Alexis Sanchez for a tap-in, but unfortunately, he aimed it straight at De Gea, and we had a load more chances. There was a Ramsey opportunity where he could have passed to Kieran Gibbs, but he totally lost him. As well as that, there were a couple of other chances we had. I can't quite remember them off the top of my head, but I certainly know that there were at least 3 or 4 clear-cut chances that we should have taken in that first half, which we didn't. Danny Welbeck had a couple of good headers, and he also had a very good chance in the opening 5 minutes of the game, which, you know, if we'd have scored that, it would have been a totally different game. But we looked like the ones who were in control of it, and to not go in at half-time a goal or two up was incredibly disappointing, to say the very least. But you would have expected us in that second half to capitalise on what we'd already done and go out there and get a goal. So through some patient build-up play, go out there, continue what we've already done, and you can only assume the deadlock would be broken and would have got a goal. I mean, the only real entertaining thing in that first half was Jack Wilshere going in for a headbutt on Marouane Fellaini, which was very unprofessional of him. He should have been red carded for that. I can honestly and wholeheartedly say that Jack Wilshere shouldn't have been on the pitch after that effort on Marouane Fellaini, which was quite frankly very pathetic on his behalf. Shouldn't have done that. But going out into that second half, I mean, first 10 minutes were all right, but then we concede that goal through Antonio Valencia, the deflected shot. Well, it was a Kieran Gibbs own goal. Very unfortunate to concede that. There was a foul in the build-up to this goal. Certainly, Marouane Fellaini pushing Kieran Gibbs into Wojciech Szczesny, penultimately giving us an injury to Szczesny, which was really, again, unfortunate to concede. Him going off, and you know, it was a poor goal to let in, but you know, we were punished for not taking our chances. That's what it comes down to. If we could have gone into half 3 or 4-0 up, but we didn't, and we didn't take our chances. They had one chance. That wasn't even a shot on target. They didn't register their first shot on target until the Wayne Rooney goal in the 85th minute. So that was really hard to take, and we capitulated. It was an inevitable capitulation as well. Players that lost. Jack Wilshere went off. That's where our play had been going through the whole game. Jack Wilshere in that number 10 role. He went off. Santi Cazorla came on. He didn't really make an impact on the game, but he didn't really do anything wrong. He was just very ordinary. That's all I can say about him. But then it really frustrates me when we're playing the ball in our own half. You've got players like Mertesacker, who's really becoming frustrating at the moment. He's running 60 yards or whatever outside of his own penalty area, and that's just asking for trouble. That's where the second killer goal came from. Mertesacker just going all the way up to the other end of the pitch, leaving Monreal exposed. Great finish by Rooney. It has to be said, he probably deserved that. He was one of the more standout players for Manchester United. He had a really good game. I actually think Fellaini had a good game for them. He's not like he's the most technically gifted player, but he certainly makes himself known on the pitch. Very physical player. But then again, he should have been punished for the foul he made in the build-up to their opening goal, because it just makes me wonder if Kieran Gibbs had pushed Fellaini in that manner, it probably would have been a penalty to Manchester United. But then again, I don't want to criticise the referee too much, because if we'd have taken our chances, I wouldn't even be having to talk about referees. But it's a bitterly disappointing result. That's all I can say. And I don't know how we're moving forward from this. I mean, I feel a bit more calm and collective about the whole situation as I'm doing this the day after the defeat. But I mean, the title's gone. We're 15 points behind the league in November, which is disgraceful for Arsenal. You know, we should be thankful that the likes of Liverpool are playing awfully. They've just lost 3-1 to Palace today. United are only 2 points ahead of us, and if they continue to play in the manner that they did yesterday, then I can't really see them getting too many wins this season. But you know, it's fortunate. It's lucky. It's not lucky. It's just typical that United beat us. It's just so typical. I mean, I do feel like you could dress up something like Oxford United in Manchester United shirts, and we're still struggling to beat them purely because of the mental stumbling block that we've got over United. It's really, well, should I say United have got over us. It's just really frustrating to see that. But That's really been my take on Arsenal's defeat to Manchester United. We've got to push on from this. I don't really know how we're going to do that. We've got to put in better performances. If Jack Wilshere's injured long term, that's going to severely cost us. The same goes for Wojciech Szczesny. Emiliano Martinez coming on as well. He looks like a very nervy keeper, but not going to dwell on that too much. Going to wrap up the video now. If you've enjoyed it, give the video a like, rate, and subscribe to the Football Syndicate. And as always, thank you for watching, guys.